Ladies and gentlemen, KocoSports.com proudly presents Wrestle AM. It's half wrestling show, it's half morning show, pretty much all BS. And of course, you got yours truly, the sexiest man on all internet wrestling radio. That's right, boom, boom, here, shaking the room, live from the RVA, Richmond, Virginia. Well, kids, I'm going to do another review of New Japan Pro Wrestling's New Beginnings in Osaka. Now, if you're a hardcore fan here with KocoSports.com, then you know that I already did a review of this morning. Well, I'm redoing it because I went back, looked at the old one. There was some, at least I was hearing some issues with the audio. There was some mistakes here and there, and I was just like, you know what? I'm not happy with it. I'm not proud of it. I can't stand by it. And if that's the case, you know what? It's late at night. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's do it one more time. Let's do it right. Because, you know, we're about quality here at KocoSports.com, KocoSports.com. So check it out, New Beginnings in Osaka. You can watch that via New Japan World, or maybe you can find it Internet Magic, but I would encourage everybody to watch this legally. Now, if you're not familiar with it, New Japan World, that is New Japan Pro Wrestling's streaming site. It's similar to the WWE Network. However, it'll cost you 999 yen, which if you break it down, if you're on my side of the pond, here in the United States, once you factor in the rate of exchange, it'll cost you roughly $8.71. If you're over in the UK, it'll cost you £7.04. This is per month. You can pay via PayPal. I've got a subscription to it, and frankly, I enjoy it. New Japan Pro Wrestling is making an effort in 2017 to bring you more English language commentary. There will be 14 grand total, 14 events in 2017 that feature English commentary, courtesy of Kevin Kelly and Don Callis. Of course, Kevin Kelly, longtime announcer for Ring of Honor. Don Callis, you may remember him as Cyrus the Virus in ECW, or the Jackal with the Truth Commission over in the WWF back around circa, I want to say, 97, 98, somewhere. You know, that it had Sniper, Recon, and Kurgan in there. No, he was the Interrogator there before he was Kurgan, but yeah, you had him. So that's the commentary. And by the way, I do want to give a shout out to Don Callis. He actually had the flu for New Beginnings in Osaka, but you know, he powered through it, so props to him. Now, as far as my thoughts on it, you know, win, loss, tie, which is, of course, the ranking that I always give things, I got to give it a win. I think the early parts were kind of, yeah, it was okay. It was nothing bad. It was just okay. It was par for the course for New Japan. However, like when you got past intermission, you got to, like, the meat of the show. Those matches were absolutely stellar. I love them, especially the main event. I'm going to talk about those in depth in just a little bit. So I got to give it a win. I would encourage you to definitely check that out. I think it was definitely better than New Beginnings in Sapporo, which they did, I think, a little over a week ago. They did that. It was mainly, on that card, it was mainly Suzuki Gun versus Chaos, and I believe Suzuki Gun, I think they lost all but one match over there in Sapporo. This one, kind of continuing the storyline. All right, so let's delve into it. First match out the gate, Taka Michinoku versus Henare. Taka Michinoku, now some of you will remember from the Kaientai faction in the WWF. This is right around the Attitude Era, you know, me choppy choppy your pee-pee, you know, that whole angle where it turned out that one chick was Taka's sister, and they tried to cut off Val Venus's tallywhacker and whatever. Well, he's back. He's part of Suzuki Gun. Now, Suzuki Gun, for those of you who are not familiar with the stable, they have just returned to New Japan Pro Wrestling after a 2-year absence. They were a huge faction in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but however, thanks to some kind of a trade deal, they had a working relationship with Pro Wrestling Noah. Well, Pro Wrestling Noah just went under new management, so that they ended the old agreement with New Japan Pro Wrestling. So New Japan called Suzuki Gun back, and so this is their big return. Now Suzuki Gun is not like, you know, like we think, you know, bang bang a gun. No, it roughly translates to Suzuki's army. So that's what that means. So when we say Suzuki Gun, Suzuki's Army is what that means. But he's back. And then Henare, nobody's going to be familiar with because he's actually a young lion. Young lions are pretty much this is kind of like their version, New Japan's version of NXT. The young boys or the young lions that they have there, you always see them there. They're always in the windbreakers. They're always by ringside. They're the ones helping out the wrestlers. They're the ones who help them at the back. They put the ice packs on them. From what I've been told in the dojo, they actually clean the dojo. They prepare meals. They're just kind of earning their stripes, and you'll recognize them because they have black boots and black trunks. There's no frills, no nothing. They don't even have knee pads or elbow pads. You have to earn those. You have to get so good and so far. And also, if you want to have anything taped up, like your wrist taped up, your elbow taped up, your knee taped up, even for something legit like an injury, you have to get permission to do that. So that's just part of your, I guess, initiation process. But Henare, actually a New Zealander. Little interesting fact, I thought he was Japanese, but however, I was sorely mistaken, and I apologize. But Henare, he actually, it was, you could easily say this was just kind of a, whatever, kind of match, but I thought it was pretty good, especially for a rookie. I thought he had a great showing against Taka Michinoku. There was a part where I thought maybe he could get him with, he had him with a crossface. However, Taka was able to reverse. He did he leaned an eye poke into a triangle choke, and he positioned himself for a rollover pin. He gets the pin, traps Henare. Henare did not look bad. He actually looked pretty good, at least in this outing. I think it was a great idea to pair him with a veteran like Taka Michinoku. And Henare didn't look bad. He just looked like, he got outsmarted. He got out wrestled by a veteran, which makes sense. So the opening match, if you want to skip it, I guess I couldn't blame you, but I actually get excited about the Young Lions because I want to see who's coming up. People who were Young Lions were David Finley, Jay White, Juice Robinson, Naito was a Young Lion at one point. I mean, all these guys that you see in New Japan were Young Lions at one point or another. So I'm kind of like seeing, who's coming, who's about to come out of the system now, who's going to be the next big star, because you want to be able to say, well, I remember them when they were a Young Lion. Next, we have some tag team action. First, we have Tenkozy. That's the tag team of Hiroshi Tenzin and Satoshi Kojima, both former IWGP heavyweight champions, taking on Yoshi-Tatsu. Yep, remember Yoshi-Tatsu from WWE? Yep, he's there. He's there now, and I think he's wrestling some of the best matches of his career right now. And the former IWGP Junior Weight Champion Kushida. I think they're getting ready to turn Yoshi-Tatsu heel, because right now Yoshi-Tatsu, his current gimmick has not been working out. His gimmick has just been the Bullet Club Hunter, because remember, he got his neck legitly broken by AJ Styles on the Styles Clash. There was a point there he was wrestling a match with AJ Styles, and he was taking the Styles Clash, and he made the mistake of tucking his chin, and he wound up hurting his neck, and he didn't realize how bad it was. So almost like the next day, or I think it was like the next day, I think he realized something was seriously up. He had to have surgery. He was out for over a year. He made a comeback, and by that time, AJ was gone. So his deal was he couldn't get revenge on the man who broke his neck, but he could get revenge on the Bullet Club. But it just really hasn't been worked out for a guy whose gimmick has been Bullet Club Hunter. Going after the Bullet Club, the only thing he's been at best is an annoyance to the Bullet Club. He's basically been like a gnat. It's been buzzing around their head because it's been him, Captain New Japan, and Billy Gunn. That's pretty much the extent of the Bullet Club Hunters. It hasn't worked out. And actually, when you look at it, I think Yoshi-Tatsu is actually kind of mocking Triple H, because he comes out with some of the green, and on his tights it says Hunter, obviously referring to Bullet Club Hunter, but you can also take that as, it's a shot towards Triple H. He does the thing where he spits the water out at the beginning. But he immediately attacks Tenzin and Kojima, at the beginning. Kushida's just kind of caught in the middle, like, what the hell is going on? Okay, and they start wrestling. It actually turns out pretty good. I think pretty good. I like the chops that Kojima does, but eventually Yoshitatsu screams for Kojima, hits him with a clothesline. Kojima comes back at him. Tatsu hits the ropes, but his arm, but Kojima catches him with that deadly lariat, Dariota, and flipped them inside out. Kojima covers Yoshitatsu. He gets the win. After the match, Yoshitatsu refuses to shake hands, causing a little bit more of a trouble. The story I'm hearing is, and of course, take this for what this is worth, that they're about to send, they do have a working relationship with CMLL in Mexico, and Yoshitatsu is going to be one of the talents that they send over to Mexico. And I think this could actually work out for him, because one of the last talents that they sent over there was Takahashi, and it just really, his career really took off after that. So maybe this will work good for him. Maybe he'll come back as a full-blown heel, because he needs to change something, because right now the way it's going isn't working out. Then next we go to a multi-man match. We go to 8-man tag. We have Hiroki Goto, Yoshi-Hashi, Jado, and Gedo representing Chaos, taking on Yuji Nagata, Juice Robinson, Jushin Thunder Liger, and Tiger Mask. New Japan loves their multi-man matches. They really do. This was just kind of by the numbers. They go in there, one guy versus one guy. Each of them tag out, and everybody kind of gets one little spot in. But they had one funny part where Liger's team, they threw everybody in Chaos out of the ring, and it left Juice Robinson in alone with Jado. He hits him with Pulp Friction, which is the unprettier. He gets the pin. A couple of things about, and by the way, Nagata, Liger, Robinson, and Tiger Mask get the win. Couple of guys in here to keep your eye on this year. I think Yoshi-Hashi is going to have a breakout year. I think they're pushing him a little bit harder. He's been wrestling some pretty decent stuff since Wrestle Kingdom. Same thing with Juice Robinson. Juice Robinson has impressed me. He had a good match against Cody Rhodes at Wrestle Kingdom. He had a phenomenal match at New Beginnings in Sapporo against Hiroki Goto for the Never Openweight Championship. And the way that Juice Robinson, now you may remember him actually better as CJ Parker from NXT, but fuck it, I'll just go into it. Parker basically realized he wasn't getting much traction in NXT, especially with his Eco Warrior gimmick. He realized, if he wants to be a big star, if he wants to get looked at on, by Triple H, like the same way that, Finn Balor did, the same way that, Shinsuke Nakamura, if he wants to get looked at, Hideo Itami, if he wants to get looked at like that, he's going to have to get better. So he asked for his release. It was granted. He got Jason Albert over at NXT to make a few phone calls, and he got put in the Young Lions program. He's come out of that, and he's wrestling just phenomenally right now. He's doing a great. I like his work now. And I've got respect for him, because he could have treaded water. He just could have been just another guy, another cog in the WWE machine, but he wanted more, and he left that security, went to a foreign country, went through their training program, and now he's wrestling. He was already pretty good, but now he's even better. So again, watch for Robinson and Yoshi-Hashi. Those are two guys I think you should really keep tabs on for 2017. Next, we get to six-man action. We have Chaos versus Suzuki Gun. We have Chaos being represented by the IWGP Heavyweight Champion Kazuchika Okada and Roppongi Vice, the junior weight tag team champions, taking on Minoru Suzuki along with Kanemaru and Taichi. This actually turned out to be a little bit better than what I thought. Now, if you didn't check out Okada's match with Suzuki at New Beginnings at Sapporo, I would highly recommend you do that. That was an amazing story that they told in that ring. Suzuki working on the leg of Okada with constant knee bars. There was some points in there where Geto, Okada's manager, was seriously considering throwing in the towel a couple of times. Eventually, Okada overcame that adversity. So they had this rematch here. Apparently, this isn't dead anytime soon. If this match is anything, these guys tore each other apart. Particularly that Roppongi Vice, man. They actually had some pretty good spots in there with both Rocky and Trent. Suzuki at one point had them both in double knee bars. That was a cool spot. This went to the outside, back to the inside. Eventually, Suzuki got back in Okada. He locked in his sleeper hold, and then he just sits Okada down. Basically watches Taichi hoist up Ramiro, and Kanemaru comes down and hits a DDT. This was enough to get the win. The attack continued. They kept working on the leg of Okada. There was actually one point where Suzuki just kind of tapped the hat, take two here. Let's pretend that made sense. Tapped the head of I think it was Rocky Romero at the end. So this feud is way from over, and plus it gets some heat back on Suzuki Gun. I want to know where this is going. I don't. I think they need to do some kind of something. They're gonna have to do something to kind of up the ante so they can have some kind of blow off match, because this heat is really building here. Next, we go to the Never Openweight 6-man Tag Team Championship match. Of course, you got the champions Hiroshi Tanahashi, Nakanishi, and Ryusuke Taguchi taking on Los Ingobernables de Japan, being represented by Sonata, Evil, and Bushi. Now, Tanahashi, Nakanishi, and Taguchi won that. They won that the event right after Wrestle Kingdom. It was in Kurikan Hall. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I'm not a big fan of the Never Openweight 6-man Tag Team Championships. I know why it was created, because you have all these guys on the roster, so they do a lot of multi-man matches to kind of get more people on the cards, but it really wasn't interesting. People, I don't know if people were showing up late, or they just were thinking, well, the early part here, really doesn't count. So they created the Never Openweight 6-man Tag Team Championships to kind of, I guess, generate some interest. I guess you could put championships on people. You see some odd pairings, and plus it helps out with the factions, because you got multiple factions. You've got LIJ, you got Chaos, you got Bullet Club, Suzuki Gun. You've got all kinds of factions here. So I think this would definitely help get over some factions. But what I don't like about it is the championship is now a year old, and it already means nothing. By the time they created it, they crowned the first 6-man champions at Wrestle Kingdom 10. By the time we got to Wrestle Kingdom 11, the championship, and I'm not joking here, this is not exaggeration, the championship had changed 10 times. It means absolutely nothing. In fact, LIJ won it at Wrestle Kingdom 11 and turned around and lost it the next night. So this was kind of a rematch, because these two teams, this is who the teams were. So Tanahashi, Nakanishi, and Taguchi, they came out basically just mocking LIJ, right? Taguchi, he had like a green cloak on with a toy scythe, obviously, taking a dig at Evil. They were all wearing sunglasses, but when they took them off, they were wearing some eye black under, like Evil does, just trying to get in their head. They had some, but this was actually better than what I expected it to be. It was very entertaining. There was one spot where they had a triple, where the good guys had a triple ankle lock on LIJ. They did a referee bump. They got back in there. Eventually, Nakanishi took some miss to the face, courtesy of Bushi. This allowed Sonata to lock on basically like a dragon sleeper. He taps out. LIJ wins the Never Openweight 6-man Tag Team Championships. Then we get to the 6th match of the evening. This was actually for the Revolution Pro British Heavyweight Championship. Yep, Rev Pro actually had their titles defended on here. Now Shibata is their heavyweight champion, and Will Ospreay is their junior weight champion. This was actually pretty good because this is a good contrast in styles. You have the no-nonsense MMA style of Shibata taking on the high-flyer, more lucha libre style of Will Ospreay, and it didn't disappoint. There was some points where the build-up to this is they've been having Will Ospreay kind of get to the head of Shibata. You know, he did that in Sapporo. Then leading up to this, these guys just put it all out there. Will Ospreay did some amazing things. He did a dive to the outside. He even mocked Shibata with sitting cross-legged in the ring. Then sorry about that. Had some technical problems there. This was really fun, but they never deviated from their styles. There was a point where Shibata, it looked like he was knocked out on the outside, so Ospreay had to do some kind of like funky way to pick him up and get him in the ring to beat the count because he couldn't win the championship with a count out. He did that that 720 that imploding 450 splash. Was only good for a 2 count. Ospreay, he kept the pressure. He hit a shining wizard on Shibata. Shibata gets back up. Will Ospreay goes for the Oz cutter, but Shibata counters it with a choke. Ospreay goes down. He sits him down, and Shibata reaches out and just hits him with the PK, the penalty kick. It's like he almost took his damn head off with it. He gets the 3 count, so Shibata retained the Rev Pro British Heavyweight Championship. Afterwards, the two shook hands. So they've apparently buried this feud. So hopefully they're both, well, at least here on that side of the ocean, they're going to bury that feud. I love that. I would definitely recommend checking that out. Next, we get to the IWGP Tag Team Championship 3-way match. You have Chaos being represented by the champions Tomohiro Ishii and Toru Yano. You have GBH, it's Great Bash Heel, being represented by Togi Makabe and Tomoki Hanma. And then you have Suzuki Gun being represented by Davey Boy Smith and Takashi Iizuka, excuse me. He's actually filling in for Lance Archer. Now, Lance Archer, he is out with a herniated disc that will require surgery. So they got Takashi Iizuka to come in. Iizuka is like a wild man. He has to wear a dog collar and a leash. They have to have they had Taka Michinoku, leads him through the crowd, and he's just like all out of control. This was actually kind of I'm not a huge fan of this match because I think like the third team is always like the third wheel here. It seems like it would be a better just a regular tag team match than a 3-way. It get a little crazy with Toru Yano and Tomohiro Ishii getting some heat early, then tagging out quickly to leave Makabe and Hanma to take the brunt of the punishment from Suzuki Gun. Eventually, there was one point where Iizuka, pulled out his fanny pack and has like an iron claw in there. He accidentally hit his tag team partner. Yano drops down. He uppercuts Iizuka and Smith and dangles in the air, and he winds up rolling up. Smith gets the 3 count. It was way too similar to their event in Sapporo. I'm hoping they would change something up a little bit, with the exception of Iizuka, and I think that was only because Archer's hurt. It was an okay match. I just think it'd have been better, just a simple tag team match. Hopefully they'll get this sorted out and they'll change it up here. Then next we get to the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match. We have Hiromu Takahashi versus Dragon Lee. This could be feud of the year if they keep this up. This was holy shit. Dragon Lee, of course, they brought him in from CMLL. Hiromu Takahashi, He's the new champion. Remember, he just recently joined LIJ. This is one of those matches where I was just like, I got tired watching this match. And when I say tired, I mean like I was exhausted because I was watching all the spots these two were doing. There was some great moves where I was actually legitimately concerned for the people, not the characters, because there was a spot where they took a hurricanrana from the top rope to the outside. There was one spot where Dragon Lee, I think he missed like a dive and went pancake flat went from the ring to the outside, pancake flat. There was a great spot where Takahashi to actually unmask Dragon Lee, and Dragon Lee had to immediately cover his face, drop down to the canvas, roll over to the young boy, and basically have the young boy cover up his face so he could get his mask back on. I like the snap German suplexes. If you're a fan of German suplexes, you'll love this event because everybody did it. There was a power bomb onto the apron. I mean, I probably don't need to say much about this because you definitely need to watch this match. Takahashi hit a destroyer. He got a 2 count. Takahashi got Lee up to a fireman's carry, threw him into the turnbuckle, picked him back up, hit his finishing maneuver, the time bomb, got the pin. This was absolutely amazing. Afterwards, Taguchi comes down on the ramp. He's applauding Takahashi. He starts talking. Now, I don't speak Japanese, so I have no idea what he was talking about. I know he was cracking some jokes, I guess, judging from the audience. I guess what it amounted to was he was saying, okay, yeah, you did a good job, but I want to challenge for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. However, Takahashi didn't take well to it, and eventually he tried to attack Taguchi, but Taguchi hit him in an ankle lock. So I'm hoping I actually want to see this match because I want to see Takahashi and Taguchi tie it up. And I guess this means the feud with Dragon Lee's dead for now. Then we get to our main event. This is for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. You have the champ Tetsuya Naito defending against Michael Elgin. This was, absolutely just fucking amazing. There was no other way to put it. They had a great story here. Now, Elgin was supposed to challenge Naito, but he suffered an injury. This is back in November when Naito legitimately broke Elgin's orbital bone, and that actually played in. They told a great physical story in there. You had Naito attacking the knee of Elgin, and Elgin trying to power through it using his strength. But every time, it seemed like he would kind of get the edge. Naito would go right back trying to hurt that eye that he injured, and then he'd go right back to the leg. Elgin would try to, power through it. The crowd was solidly behind Elgin on this one, so big props to the crowd in Osaka. Anyway, he missed a lariat towards the end. Naito, he grabbed Elgin by the head. He went to the top rope. He actually had to go do a Destino from the top rope. It almost wasn't enough. Naito had to go back and hit another Destino. He gets the win. This match went a good. I'm not even doing this match justice for how long this thing went. This thing went over 30 minutes. I would really recommend you just check out this match. Anyway, then afterwards, Los Ingobernables come out. So every single one of them, all 5 members, all holding gold now. They are the never open weight 6-man tag team champions, the IWGP Junior Weight Champion, and the IWGP Intercontinental Champion. So LIJ ruling the day. It's actually a really, really, really good event. I would highly recommend you check it out, especially. In fact, going back, looking at it, let's see here. Opening match, you could probably skip, even though I would suggest you watch the whole pay-per-view. But if you're short on time or you just really want to get somebody in this pay-per-view, I would honestly say start with them after intermission because I think that's when the open 6-weight championship match starts. I think that's a good place to start. Shibata and Ospreay is definitely a must-see. The IWGP Tag Team Championship 3-way match, it's hit or miss. I personally wasn't all that into it, but the last 2 matches are definitely. If you can only show them one, I would. Ooh, God. I would probably show them the IWGP Junior Weight Championship because that was just insane fucking spots. But 3 definitely, maybe 4 matches are you just must see. Highly recommend trying it, and I would say, hey, get you a subscription to New Japan World. It's not even $9. If you're already spending $9.99 on the WWE Network, what's it? To spend another $8-9 for New Japan. They've got more English commentary. I mean, you can go. They're getting more English commentary for events. Plus, they've got a new. New Japan has an English language site. It's www.njpw1972.com. You can go there. You can get updated on things. You'll be fully updated on the storylines, who's on what. You can even check out results. You can shop for stuff. Check out the latest news there. So definitely worth checking out. Now, somebody had asked me earlier about what comes next. I know that Okada talked about wrestling Tiger Mask W. And now, for those of you who are kind of scratching your head, like Tiger Mask W, no, not Tiger Mask 4, the one appeared on this event. No, Tiger Mask W, which is, by the way, is an anime. You can actually check that out on, I think Crunchyroll's got it. It's only available in Japanese with English subtitles. It's worth checking out even if you're not an anime fan. It's got a lot of New Japan guy. In fact, I mean, it's pretty much what it's about. It's about pro wrestling. It heavily features New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I think they've even got basically it takes a shot at WWE. I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but I would say check it out, see if you can tell who they're kind of, I don't want to say mocking. Well, yeah, mocking with WWE. I would suggest just check it out. But Tiger Mask W wrestled Tiger the Dark at Wrestle Kingdom. But here's the thing. Tiger Mask W, that was Kota Ibushi, and Tiger the Dark, that was ACH. So while you're like Tiger Mask W, Okada versus Kota Ibushi, hell yeah, sign me up. I want to see that match. So, all right, unless I get any questions from the chat room, go ahead and dial them up here. Also let me know what you thought about the show, win, loss, or tie. John C. Bullock in the house. Brother Booms, I knew you would come. Of course, that's all he always enters. We need the Bullet Club name in WWE. I really wish they would change the name and do something different because it's like the club. That doesn't work for me. It's better than I guess it's better than the Firearms Enthusiast. So I mean, yeah, they could, but they're going to have to pay out the nose for it. And if they try to use it, either they can try to buy the name outright from New Japan, which is not going to happen, or they could go through some kind of court battle. But I don't think it's worth it. And plus, WWE's PG. I mean, if you really got to, I mean, come on. If you're not a wrestling fan, you see the Bullet Club. I've actually shown people the Bullet Club logo. They're like, oh, is that really appropriate? They're thinking maybe is that like a gang? Is that advertising? Promoting gun violence? What do you do? I'm like, dude, it's a wrestling thing. Fucking relax. But that's just the way it is. All right, so that's going to do it for my redo of the New Beginnings in Osaka. Let's see. We're kind of changed up the schedule here at KocoSports.com. Let's see. We're going to be LK's getting a promotion, so we're going to change up things. We'll probably be reviewing shows the day after they air just to kind of make rooms because, what can I say, real life gets in the way of the internet. Monday Night Raw review in the can. Tuesday Night SmackDown review in the can. I've just done New Beginnings in Osaka. Tomorrow we're going to try to get NXT knocked out of the way. TNA review coming up. Fastlane coming up this Sunday. We'll start all over again on Monday, so be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, so that way when we're doing these shows. Get your questions in. We'll try to answer everything. And thanks for joining us, and check us out, KocoSports.com, KOCOSports.com. It's your home for combat sports. It's where the world goes to kick ass, and most importantly, where it's okay to be a passionate fan. So this is Booms for the rest of the Coco crew saying the boom just went bang, and I am over.